eaters, gamblers, etc.
Huh.
So, so, so we have to understand that if that the whole world is basically living on the basis of breaking all four regulated principles. And
Hmm.
because they're breaking the regulated principles, they are frustrated and they're in despair. So if people can come to the point of becoming a Kanista Adhikari, then that's good because then they will stop, they will be able to live peacefully as much as they can given their leftover karma, whatever that may be. You know, everyone that joins the movement surrenders to a certain degree.
Right.
And
Right.
to the degree that they surrender is the degree to which they are relieved of birth and death.
Huh. Indeed. Very
Repeated birth
true.
and death. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we can't. So when we were talking earlier, you know, like last night about that list of items, uh, in a sense, it doesn't matter how many births you take as a neophyte or Kanista Adhikari guru, devotee, because you're still going to be making progress as long as you stick with it. The
Right.
problem is that, you know,
How
when
long it's going
people
to take?
are cheating or pretending, that doesn't work. But as long
Yeah.
as
That.
people are sincere, they will continue. But we need to say, if we're going to be encouraged, because I got the feeling that most of the people that I've talked to on this Zoom call are not that keen on taking 100 more births until the golden age of 10,000 years of Kali is finished. And so that raised in my mind the question of, okay, you don't want to take how many births? How many births do you want to take? How many more do you want to take? Well, I'd like to go back to Godhead at the end of this lifetime. Okay, how are you going to do that?
Hmm.
Are you a pure devotee? You see, what people think is that you die and you go to Krishna Loka like you just are like a tourist going to Disneyland or something of that sort. You can wander around and eat things and enjoy the sights. But that's not what Krishna Loka is. Krishna Loka is based on each being having an individual rasa with Krishna.
Hmm.
Rasa means interactive, loving relationship with Krishna. It's not that you go to Krishna Loka like a reformed karmi that just dies as a brahmachari or a sannyasi or a householder, and he goes to Krishna Loka and says, okay, clue me in. That's not what happens. If you're
Doesn't
not
work.
clued in, you don't go to Krishna Loka.
Yeah.
That's why we're talking about Madhyam and Uttamadhikari, and that's why it's so important that the guru be an Uttamadhikari. It's not a moral issue. It's not that, okay, you ought to be an Uttamadhikari to be guru, or else you're not a good guru. No, you don't know. You don't. If you're not an Uttamadhikari, how can you guide anyone to become an Uttamadhikari? Well, you can't guide yourself. So the Madhyam, the Kanista, they cannot be guru. They can, but it won't have very much good effect on the disciple. That's why all the people yearning for a guru. Oh, I want to take a guru. You know, I'm going to go ahead and take a guru. Well, why? Like, you know, Chidananda said,
Chidananda is on. He's coming on. 1 second, Narayan
oh,
Prabhu.
Jai, oh, Haribo. Because he said that when he took initiation from Bhagavan, Bhagavan said, I promise to take you back to Godhead. Okay, I don't have to think about it anymore. I'm saved. I'm going to go back to Godhead because Bhagavan told me he would take me back to Godhead. So what do I have to worry about? The equivalent of Jesus has appeared in my life as a ISKCON guru. Well, is that the way it worked out? No, he left. And what did he do? He got together with a woman that had already had 8 children.
Huh. 8
Wow.
children? Wow. That is.
Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
he okay up here?
Well, up here or down there, I don't know where he wasn't okay.
Here, down there. Yeah.
I don't know. You know, I mean, it's very peculiar.
Yeah, I mean, his spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, talked about certain things about, marrying a woman who has 10 children, This is not something very, very great.
Maybe it was 8 children. Does
Oh,
that
well,
mean
whatever it was. Yeah,
two better than 10?
right. So,
Yeah, it's strange, And also, what happened to the father of her children? Or
right,
did she have many? Don't she married many times?
right.
All I can say is that Bhagavan had a wonderful wife, and I spent 4 hours in the blazing sun on the roof of one of those residential buildings in Mayapur. I spent 4 hours begging him to remain with his wonderful wife and make that his success. So if he got together with a woman with so many children afterwards, was she better than his wife? If so, in what way?
Yeah. Somebody just now looking at it analytically, is it because these people were taking on the karma of of the disciples, or just plain old disobedience, or both, to Srila
Well,
Prabhupada's
why?
instructions?
No, I don't think that Bhagavan ever had a desire to disobey Prabhupada.
Okay.
And when he became a GBC, well, he did disobey Prabhupada by not insisting on his own that the GBC be elected every 3 years. He could have insisted. He could have
Right, he
said,
could
"Come
have.
on, you jerks, you assholes, come on. We are supposed to be elected for 3 years only, not permanently." But everybody was egging each other on to go further and further away from Prabhupada while claiming to be serving him.
Yeah,
They
that's
had the
something.
idea that they actually had the idea that because they were Westerners, they knew about business. They didn't know about spiritual life. That's Prabhupada's program, but they knew about business. They knew about corporations. They knew about how to structure things. That's what they really felt. That's what they really felt. So they felt Prabhupada didn't know and they did know. Well, isn't that a major apparat to consider
Yeah,
your
that's what I was
guru
saying. Yeah, yes.
doesn't know?
Yeah, that was
Well,
my.
he knows about spiritual life. We know about material life. Well, you're not here for material life. You're here for spiritual life. Why are you saying that you have to know about material life and you're better at it than your guru? So they were thinking of we're dovetailing our material knowledge into Krishna consciousness, and Prabhupada doesn't fully grasp all of that. These are insane statements. It doesn't work. It is proven that it doesn't work. Is that Chidananda's neighbor's dog?
Yes, I think so.
You should get some vegetarian dog snacks and toss them out and let the dog chew on them.
No, it's not me.
No, it's not
It's not
you. But
No.
whoever has the dog. Oh, you don't have a dog in your background right now?
No
No,
dog
no.
at all.
Well,
It must
who
be
does?
Mahaprabhu.
I don't have a
You have a dog in
here.
your background?
Maybe
Hare Krishna.
Mahaprabhu.
No dogs.
Chitanandra.
Is that your dog?
Mahaprabhu in
Chidananda
the
does.
house. All
No,
right.
no.
Okay,
You have
so
a dog?
this time it's not the neighbor's dog.
My dog. I'm the dog.
But
It
whoever
must be
has a dog,
Mahaprabhu.
why not take a supply of vegetarian dog chews and toss them one, and then he won't bark. He'll just chew.
I'm trying to get
So,
some
how should you
contact.
go ahead,
to
Chidananda
join.
Prabhu?
Okay.
Yes,
I'm trying to
Yes.
get some people to join. Okay?
do the needful.
Yes.
Yes.
Do the
Carry
needful.
on.
Yes. So,
Everything
Narayan Prabhu, I
you
sent the
does
message to the
is
two
wonderful
devotees.
and works. What?
Okay.
Yes, I sent the message to the two devotees that you sent me the link about the text message
Yes.
about. So let's see if they join or
Okay.
not.
They've been involved with Krishna consciousness for a very long time.
Oh,
They're twins. They're both 40 years old,
wow. Right.
and I think they've been involved for more than 20 years, 25 years.
What state? You said East Coast or something, right? You said.
Let's see. I'm not sure.
Anyways,
It's,
are
they're
they
sort of East Coast. No, not slightly Midwest, maybe.
okay? Are they involved in the institution, or are they independent practitioners?
Completely independent.
Oh, okay. Intelligent folks. Very good.
Yeah. One of them, Joshua Dorta, is an artist, and he graduated with a degree with art, and his whole thing, while going to school, in high school even, was painting pictures of Krishna.
Wow, Jai. These are amazing.
So they're rather remarkable. They don't require a guru to get ahead. They've been getting ahead on their own. Really well read. Really know the history of ISKCON. I couldn't bring any. I won't say that. Only maybe a few things that I brought up in a 3-hour conversation he hasn't been aware of. Otherwise, he was aware of everything that happened, everything conversation people had, and stuff like that.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah.
Both brothers or sisters or whoever they are, they were on the call, or just one?
No, just one at a time.
Okay. Oh, one at a time.
Yeah. The Joshua called me first and said his brother Adam wanted to talk to me, his twin brother. And
Gotcha.
and
Joshua
about
and Adam. Nice name.
well, he's writing a book on Mr. John. So I gave them the skinny on Mr. John, the good, the bad, and the ugly. You know.
Which you have said that about before. Yeah. Yes.
Yes. Yes. And I told him, quite frankly, I said, I think that, you know, that Mr. John had an intellectual disability, and my background with studying psychology, I was close to getting a degree in psychology and psychiatry and philosophy and therapy. I know a lot about it. Raising a bunch of kids, you know a lot about the mind.
Yeah.
And
right.
And so I said, I think he had a intellectual or mental disability, but he is so lucky that he focused his simple mind on chanting and philosophy. So he had nothing to, it was fine. He was fine, but he didn't understand things. He didn't have a deep understanding of anything. He wasn't a deep philosopher. Now they want to turn him into like a god, just like they want to turn Jayananda into some sort of god. He wasn't. He was a very, very unhappy person. And I knew him quite well. One thing I might mention is that Prabhupada tended to name his disciples after the opposite of their nature, usually. To give them something to live into, like he named me Nara Narayan, who are so austere that the demigods could not tempt them with females. Oh, I was very much into being tempted by females. It was a curse until some years ago, until 1997, that came up, that whole concept. And then regained it again for 10 years, and then 8 years, and then gave it up again when I got married to Rupa Manjori. But then the other, then Jayananda means the triumph of bliss. Well, that's the opposite of his nature. He was an incredibly unhappy person.
Yes, you've said that before.
But he always expressed himself. He said, "Oh, Narayan, if it wasn't for you, I would know nothing about building Rath Yatrakas. You're the expert. You're the one who knows. You do that." He talked like that to everybody. He glorified everybody, and for that reason, they didn't realize he was speaking from deep, profound unhappiness.
That's a very good point. Deep, profound unhappiness.
Yeah, but people don't know it. They don't care, and I don't want to tell them necessarily.
Right.
When I was up there in 1968 at Pike Street Market in Seattle, he was munching down a bunch of vegetarian carmy food, and you know, and he looked at me bitterly and he said, "Oh, I know, darn around. I suppose you're going to tell everybody that I was eating this." I said, "No, why should I?" It was like that, so, you know. And then when he was dying, I came to see him to offer my prostrated obeisances to thank him for everything that he did in this country. You know, he was in Los Angeles in an apartment sitting against the wall. He tried everything, Laetrile and everything to kill his cancer, it didn't work. And so I came in to the room to offer my obeisances. He looked up at me with great savagery and said, "Oh, I see. You've come to gloat over my death." I said, "What?" And I didn't say, you know, I mean, my God. He thought I'd come to gloat over his death. Why? I always liked him. He was a friend. He worked with me. We worked together. We were in college together. I met him at a modern dance class where the dance teacher had about 50 people in the class, or maybe 30 people in the class. And he told them, "I want you to get to know each other." So we thought we'd walk around shaking each other's hands. What he told us to do, he told us to jump into a gigantic heap on the middle of the floor and crawl around between each other. So we crawled around inside this heap of people, you know, males and females. We just crawled through. Most people didn't stop to talk. But then this guy came and his head stuck through and my head stuck through. We started talking. And it was Jayananda before he became a devotee, years before he became a devotee. We had this interesting philosophical conversation with in a big pile of males and females squirming around on top of us. So that's my remembrance of Jayananda. And then he thought I was always after him or hated him or something, but I never did at all. I loved him.
So we have
Maitreya.
we have two more devotees joining us, Maitreya, Rishi Prabhu, and some devotees on YouTube are joining. So,
Oh, that's wonderful.
Jai Prabhu's.
Maitreya, did you by
Maitreya.
any chance take off your wig?
Yeah,
You had a wig.
another one, a little wig on the back.
Yeah.
The real one.
Last night, didn't you have hair down to your shoulders?
Oh no, I had chada.
Oh, I thought,
it
my
would-
God, this guy is incredible. He looks like a 60s rock star. I didn't know you had a shaved head.
I got so inspired by your association that I shaved my head the next day.
Oh, you shaved your head.
Yeah.
That's
Go
great.
Narnarayan. Yeah.
Oh, great.
Narnarayan. Yes.
Great.
Yes. Okay.
Great
So
news.
once again, I've been humbled. But
Prabhu,
anyway,
I just
you look great with or without the charter.
okay. Well, I don't know about that, but I just have a couple minutes before Mangala.
Bhaktananda Dev is here. Welcome.
Okay, Jai. I saw that Ramachandra Prabhu had sent me an invite just before I went to Mangala Aarti. So I just wanted to ask you, I called you last night just to let you know that this time that you arranged before, if we were to do another meeting, it doesn't really work for me because actually you said 6 or 5 your time, and that's like midnight for me. So
where are you located?
I'm located in London.
That's right.
Yeah, bit of a time difference. I was wondering
Yes, that's tough.
I was wondering if
started at 4 in the afternoon or something of that sort, California time.
Yeah, well,
it's very tricky because then what happens is that, like Chidananda, for him this is morning, and that would put him probably at 3 in the morning or something of that sort if he was on it from Mauritius.
For London, it's 3 in the morning, but you can come later because we are on 3 hours sometimes.
But I was just wondering for Narendra, because I was asking
I'm not the boss.
you if we
Look
could do
over
like
there, Ramachandra Singh. Look at him. He's the boss.
okay. But if I wanted to call you if outside of this time frame, because it's not so convenient for me, because when I do my rounds and my Mangala art,
Of course.
Yes. So
could I call you at like 1 or 2 p.m. your time, which is like 7, 8, 9 p.m. my time? Would that be possible?
Why not?
Okay, because
But Ramachandra has things that he does, and he has 2 children that he cares for. So you have to see how it works out. But
I see.
anybody that wants to join us, if Ramachandra is the one that runs the Zoom calls. So if he can do a Zoom call at that hour, then the rest of us can participate. Whoever's in the right time zone, you know.
Okay, I see.
So what
Okay.
we can do is we can have a Zoom call, and everyone here that is participating, and my chair Rishi, you be the host. I'll just keep quiet, and you ask whatever questions you like. So you take the lead role. You get what I'm saying? So you get everything set up, invite everyone, and you take the lead role and whatever you want to do, and we'll just hear and listen. And if we have any questions, we'll ask.
What time?
Yes. Yeah. So we got to figure out the time. So you
Yeah.
tell me what time, and
Well-
I'll coordinate with Narnayan Prabhu, and I'll tell him, Narnayan Prabhu, we want to do it this time.
I'm basically fairly flexible,
Yes.
Okay.
or so I say.
We're all flexible, Narnayan Prabhu.
Okay.
But last
Well,
minute.
We can probably hash out a better time then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just contact me. Just contact me, and
Yeah.
we'll figure something out. No worries.
Okay.
So what time do you think that would be our time, Ramachandra?
I have no idea. I'll have to look. My Charisha, you figured out the time.
Well,
if we can start.
my chair can tell you what's a good time for him. What time is it now in England? Midnight, right?
Right now it is just about to be Mangalarati. It's 4:59. But the times that usually would work best for me are just before the evening program at like 6, or then afterwards 7:30, 8, 9 p.m. That's
Your time.
Yeah, my time. So that for you would be 11, 12, 1 p.m.
Oh, wow.
11 a.m., 12 a.m., 12 p.m., 1 p.m. Like that.
Yes, that would be early afternoon for us, Ramachandra. So
Okay.
I don't know if that works for you or not.
Yeah, that works for me. Tomorrow, we can figure out something tomorrow or the next day.
Obviously, it would probably have to be not more than 2 hours or 1 or 2 hours, depending on our schedules, because we're all busy people.
Yeah, well, Ritvikism is a big issue, like a big topic. I would like to talk about it more, but I think we can do multiple sessions, maybe possibly even like that.
No, that's good. No, we will. We'll talk into in detail. But you said Ritvik. Do you know any Ritviks?
Yes, yeah.
How many people have they initiated?
Several.
They have.
Here to Ritvik philosophy, but it is it's currently the time. Actually, the bell's just about to ring. So, but Hare Krishna.
We'll talk again. Yes, we'll talk again. So just message me.
Wonderful having you here.
Just message me what time you want to do it, and we'll figure something out, Prabhu. I'll keep in contact.
Hare Krishna.
I'll do everything I can to be part of it.
Okay.
Right. Well, that was wonderful.
Yes, there are devotees preaching all over the world. Some of them, I guess, have initiated people into the Ritvik system. And I think these devotees.
I thought I was trapping him, but he got me. Not me. I didn't get him. He got me.
Yeah. Jai. So
I don't know, dude. I mean, you're a big shot Paranjan type Ritviks. I've never initiated anyone.
Yeah, Paranjana hasn't initiated anyone. He just has, he posts stuff. And
yeah, but why not put your money where your mouth is?
Right. That's what I'm saying. Put your money where your mouth is. That's what I told the local ISKCON congregation, but they couldn't do that.
What did you tell them?
I said, I'll give you $20,000, $30,000. Another 10 people come with $20,000, $30,000, and we'll have a temple. You know, but no one ever pulled through.
No, because they want something simpler, easier to manage, and they want something simpler, easier to manage, and controllable.
Yeah, I was like, you know, whoever gives the donations and whoever is in good standing, they'll be the trustees. They didn't agree with that.
There you go.
But, you know, simple.
You understand? So wait a minute. If they do that, how can I control them? They should give me the
Yeah.
money, and then I will control them. What are you saying with your idea that they will be the trustees?
Yeah.
They're supposed to let go of their money and give it to me, trusting me to be trusted, not as a trustee, but just to be trusted in general. Oh well.
Anyways,
Not surprised.
go ahead, Narayan Prabhu. You were going to say not surprised?
No, I'm just listening.
Yes. So we'll start the official program, right? Or well, this is the official program.
I put
Well,
I put a post
let's
on
do what we're
Facebook.
doing. What's on the agenda?
Let's discuss that paper that you wrote, Narayan Prabhu.
Yeah,
I'll
we
put
have
it
to
on.
continue this.
Yes. So Chidananda
We can
Prabhu, can you read?
continue.
Yes, please read it, and then we'll have a discussion.
Yeah.
Please.
Well, we've already gone
Yeah.
through some. Are we going to read the whole thing, or just
No,
where you left
no,
off?
where we left off.
Just a minute, right? You can carry
Yes.
on while I search for that.
Yes. So we were at I think we were here. This one.
Number 3. I think it was number 3.
We're at number 3. Okay.
3. And it's a long one. It's got A, B, C,
Go ahead.
D. No, it's not.
Let's usually go over those one at a time. But I think already, because of our conversation, that it's time to start to rewrite that already to make it more conformity with what people are told. Like Chidananda, you said, the Bhagavan said, I will take you back to Godhead. I have never heard a promise of a ISKCON guru to a disciple, so I didn't know they were making that sort of promise. You know what I mean?
So who's banging in the background? Someone's banging in the background.
Not me. Not me.
Okay.
Not
Please
me.
mute yourself.
It's
Okay.
Narayan Das.
Oh, that's you. Okay.
Yeah.
Ramachandra, do
Yes.
you remember exactly where we stopped? I think number
the screen?
2, it was it suggested that you took initiation from a GBC appointed initiator, that you would go back to Godhead? Yes, I think we go to B. Go back to Godhead in some future birth. How many births required? Not specified. I think we stop there.
Okay, so please continue from where you left
Well,
off. So
that sort of touches on Chidananda's point that I will take you back to Godhead.
Okay.
Hey,
But if I could just quickly mention that when a person says, I will take you back to Godhead, that's when you are free to stop thinking. Stop thinking. You don't have to think anymore. How are you going to get back to Godhead? Oh, I know how I'm getting back to Godhead. My initiating, the man who initiated said he's taking me back to Godhead. Oh, so that's how you're getting back to Godhead. But you never have to think after that. You don't have to participate even. Does that make sense?
yes, it makes sense. So
Ramachandra.
go ahead. Yes, go ahead, Prabhu.
So
This is
I
Dr. Andrew here.
would say that it is by nature disempowering for a person to say, I will take you back to Godhead.
someone
Because
wants to talk.
then it's not up to you, it's up to them. You not only cease to be an individual, independent philosopher, you cease to be a participant in your own destiny.
Right.
You're no longer a person that develops a relationship with Krishna. You're the person who stands by waiting to be taken back to Godhead.
The
Andrew
Ananda
the opposite of independent philosopher.
Bhaktananda Prabhu, you had a question or you wanted to share
Yes,
something?
yeah. I was wondering if you had sent these questions that are written here in an email. I think I posted my email a couple of days ago. I don't know if you ended up that you sent them off.
I sent it to a message, your phone number. Let me send it to you again. Can I send it to you now?
Sure.
Okay, sorry. I guess I forgot.
No worries. I was just kind of curious if I could like review it.
No, you should have it in your hand.
Yeah, that's the best thing. Anyways,
I'll print it out. That's good.
It's my fault. I didn't send it to him the right way. Let's see. What's his name? Can I start reading? Can someone read number 3? What is number 3? And then we can discuss.
Number 3?
Yes, please.
Wasn't that Chidananda was reading?
Oh,
Anybody can read.
Chidananda.
Anybody
You can read.
What I like, I guess I'll go ahead and
Yes, please.
offer some service.
Yeah,
Was
do
it made clear that only an Uttama Adhikari can go back to Krishna Loka, which requires that you have renewed and regained your eternal relationship with Krishna? Are we reading or just and discussing, or just reading?
We're doing both. We're reading and discussing. So,
okay.
What's his name? Chidananda Prabhu, you took an ISKCON guru. Did you guys ever have a discussion about this topic, about who can take you back to Godhead? I guess you did, because you said that Bhagavan said that he was going to take you back to Godhead. So apparently that means what? He's an Uttama Adhikari.
They all claim to be Uttama Adhikari. I think all 11 of them.
Yeah,
Sorry.
because
well, the 11, but it's a lot more than that now.
Well, yeah, I meant like those original, like in the,
Oh yeah, they were drowning
princes.
in their own self-importance. There's no doubt
the 11 princes, they're so hungry for prestige that they just all kind of what do you call it, conspirize?
Yeah.
They didn't
conspired
think it through
to like maintain this false superficial, like on the outside it looks like ISKCON, but on the inside they lack the moral the morality to be able to demonstrate proper what an acharya should be appear as, what effect the devotee should have from having contact with the authorized acharya.
Yeah, well, that's interesting because, okay, go ahead.
So
I'm going to hear what people say.
Yeah, so my question to you is, Prabhu, when did you realize that an Uttama Adhikari can only be the guru? Bhakta Ananda Prabhu, Andrew Ananda.
I think like the way that the whole thing was kind of presented in a series of videos, like I guess it's a documentary, but it's a 4-part documentary that goes through each, like Prabhupada's mission and then his disappearance the poison issue and the book changes, as well as
I see.
some,
So,
some other
so
things.
they were,
But
so they were talking about these 3 levels of devotees. Uttamadakari can only be the Diksha and Shiksha
they
Guru.
they
They did-
mentioned that these people putting themselves artificially as acharyas is an abomination.
Okay.
That
Oh,
was
so
mentioned
you,
very clearly
so
from the beginning.
Ramachandra, he was not hearing this from the ISKCON gurus. He was hearing this from people who could see through the ISKCON gurus.
Okay. Acha. Yeah, that's what I wanted to know.
Yeah, so we're trying to
I mean-
find out what, but were you ever told anything how to trust the ISKCON gurus by people like ISKCON gurus or their followers? Or was your whole education in Krishna consciousness really based on the hearing from people that could see through them?
Initially, I was going to ISKCON thinking that, this is Srila Prabhupada's mission, what an incredible personality. And then like as I kind of started surfing YouTube more and more, this kind of video, like other videos popped up. And I kind of thought it was like a hoax video, and I kept watching, and I was like, oh, this is. I came to the conclusion that this could all very well be true.
So are
And
you
the book
saying that,
changes. They were pointing out
you're,
so many different
you
aspects of
were,
it.
can I ask you, you were exposed to Krishna consciousness in a temple, but then you went online and you got a whole bunch of other information that did not, that was
Right.
that was not the same
Right.
as that, right?
Information that was never going to be presented to me in the temple.
Oh, that's
Ever.
interesting.
They were never going to mention this to me or to anybody else. They were
Well,
going to
this
go
opens
along
a
and say,
whole
don't watch
dimension.
these videos. Don't watch, you know what I mean? They'll just tell people not to, watch the videos. Like basically put their heads in the sand.
Well, the
So how
ISKCON
many-
gurus, huh? Go ahead, Narayan Prabhu.
No, go ahead.
Some ISKCON gurus have come here to Sacramento and said, do not believe everything they say online about me. So I'm like, oh really?
I don't know.
Some of the things that I've done, it's not, Anyways, go ahead, Narayan Prabhu.
No, this is, I'm fascinated.
Yeah, I'm fascinated too.
Keep going. Well,
I mean,
what I was okay, go ahead.
Locally in Sacramento, I've been in the congregation for what, close to probably
10
10
years.
years. Yeah, and I've never heard anyone talk about these levels. They only quote that shloka, what is that? Amara Agya Guru, that everyone everyone should be a guru. Everyone, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, it is my desire that everyone become a spiritual master or a guru. So this is the general quote the ISKCON people use. Oh, yes.
But not without qualification, eh?
Yeah, not artificially.
Yeah. And
They're
then you talk about...
actualizing that stage of bhakti.
Well, that's what I am also saying. I'm inviting. Let's make a pledge to take 100 more births for the next 10,000 years and become gurus for the whole planet, including the animals and the vegetables and the people and the birds.
Your
deliver
version
everyone.
of...
Let's take the time to do it and deliver everyone.
Your version of guru is different than their version. Their version of guru is involving money and this and that.
Vatican style.
Oh,
they want Vatican style.
That will not help them at the time of death, will it?
Right. So
I mean,
Haribol?
who are they kidding?
Yes, Chaitanya Prabhu.
Yeah, they want to carry on the Vatican scam, with either there will one pope, there will be many popes, more and more popes, and each pope has got his zone to control all huge areas of land like South America. It's big money involved.
So
That's advantage.
what will be the result for that
Like the
person,
world.
that so-called guru? What will his destiny be at the time of death? His death.
What?
Hellish planet.
What will happen to him at the time of death?
He's
Well,
gonna,
he takes all the karmas
yeah,
of these disciples.
gonna
So,
take in a
and the
lower
question
planet.
then is, good, the guru is supposed to take on the karma of the disciple, but then let's calculate, what does the guru do with the karma that he's taken on from the disciple?
He's
He
supposed to
tries to
purify.
he tries to digest it, but he cannot digest it.
Well, yes, he's
They're not able
supposed to
to
be able to
purify.
transfer, the bona fide guru is supposed to be able to transfer the karma
Karma.
that he takes on up through the sampradaya.
Mm-hmm.
The guru's not on his own. He's not all by himself. He's part, if the guru, the bona fide guru, is in a line of disciplic succession coming down ultimately from Lord Balaram. And then from Balaram comes Vishnu. So we see, we're talking about very exalted personalities taking on our karma. For Balaram to take on the karma of everyone in all the material universes, of which there are innumerable universes, is not at all difficult, would you say?
Right, yeah. Not at all.
So everyone, so then the trick is that at each stage must be transparent.
Jai. The
So
gurus are not
whatever stage is transparent, it will go to the next stage. So
Right.
if a man were actual ISKCON guru, he would transfer the karma to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada would transfer to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati
Parampara.
Thakur, yeah, his guru, and then, yeah, we included Prabhupada already, right? And
Yes.
and then
And no one suffers.
Siddhanta
No one
takes it up to Gorkashore, and Gorkashore Das Babaji takes it up to Bhakti Vinod, and
Right.
so on, all the
Right.
way up to Lord Chaitanya and beyond.
Yes.
Because Lord Chaitanya's associates also appeared in the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. That's why it's called Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, because it included all of them.
Question?
Yes.
Well,
Go ahead. Prabhu.
what about other sampradaya, like the Madhva Sampradaya, the Shiva Sampradaya? We're supposed to be genuine, so do they do the same thing? They don't have unlimited gurus like ISKCON.
Didn't someone come up with something where, from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, where Lord Chaitanya says he picked some things from this sampradaya, some other things from that sampradaya?
Yes, that's there. I think in the Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Yeah, somehow we came across it. And so that's up to Lord Chaitanya, it's not up to us. We can sit around and say, we're not like ladies out shopping in a store, right?
Right.
We are students. So how do we know the curriculum? That is determined by the university. How can we determine our curriculum? I say, oh, I like Nimbarka. Oh, I like Ramanuja. Well, it's not up to us to determine these things. When you go to a college, you don't determine what philosophy their teachers have studied. You study the course, Philosophy 101 or Mathematics 101, whatever it is, you study what you have not studied in your lower access to education. Does that make sense?
Even Jesus said, you have to go through me to go to the Father. Through me.
Well, that's what Bhagavan said.
Bhagavan also said that, but was he qualified?
Well,
Once he had enough, he went away.
the thing is that when Jesus, if Jesus said that, which is not necessarily just open and shut case, because there's always conditions, you know. What are the conditions that Jesus set for the disciple to go back to the kingdom of God? You know, we don't even know what they are, I don't think.
It's not the same destination for Jesus, is it?
Oh, absolutely
Not a
not.
final destination.
No, according to Srila Prabhupada, and I have no choice but to go with Srila Prabhupada, the situation with Jesus is that he comes from the planet of the avatars, which is called Swargaloka. It's in the
Swarga.
material universe. It's not in the kingdom of God. And it's in the material universe, but it's about as high as you can go in the material universe. And it's sort of in the suburbs of Brahmaloka. In other words, it's very close to Lord Brahma's planet, which is at the top. So basically, there's no way to understand Jesus' teaching in relationship to our Vaishnava philosophy at all, because we don't know where the connection points are.
Yes.
So we could just say that Jesus, like Buddha came, he had very clear instructions. Shankaracharya came, he had very clear instructions. Lord Chaitanya came, he had very clear instructions. So we know what to make of it, you know. But with Jesus, where are the clear instructions? Where's the process? Where's the yoga? Where's the relationship to God? He barely mentions God. He does not describe the kingdom of God.
Because his teachings are gone. It has been replaced by Vatican teachings.
Well, there you go. That is another major factor, isn't it? Just like we object that people are changing Prabhupada's books. Well, what about Jesus? What about changing Jesus' teaching to suit the time and place for their material, which is conspicuous? The Vatican has a conspicuous material interest in the outcome of Jesus' life. Conspicuous. I mean, it's the main thing.
The Vatican has hidden many other writings about Jesus.
Yes.
They just chose what they want, they thought fit for them.
But nothing that they write about Jesus gives Jesus the primary position. It's always they talk about Jesus, but where is Jesus guiding them directly? It's usually anecdotal, right? That he walked on water, or he raised Lazarus from the dead. These are anecdotes, but they have nothing to do with teachings.
Yeah.
And when he said the golden rule, which was spoken hundreds of years before Jesus spoke it by the founder of the Essene sect, which Jesus was part of or a member of, do not do unto others that which you would not have them do unto you. That's the actual golden rule of Hillel. When I was about 14, I was giving my father a hard time on Christianity. And so I said, well, what about the golden rule? Do unto others as what you do. In fact, my dad said it's not the actual golden rule. Actual golden rule is do not do to others what you would not have them do to you, which is, in my view, a great deal more practical. What do you think?
Right. So I'd like to share this quote. Can everyone see it? This is from Dialectic Spiritualism. Srila Prabhupada is commenting on the concept of the guru. Should I read it? Can everyone see it properly?
Well, read it
Yes.
out loud.
Okay. This is
Pretty
Srila
small
Prabhupada.
type.
Yeah, I can read it. So let me zoom in a little bit. Okay. So people can see. This is a conversation with Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada is about the process of guru, the importance of the guru. So Srila Prabhupada comments, just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master, inquire from him submissively, and render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, verse 34. Then Srila Prabhupada
Right.
goes on.
That's right out of the Bhagavad Gita, right?
Yeah. And then Srila Prabhupada comments, a guru who knows the truth is one who sees the truth. People can say, quote, can you show me God, unquote. It is natural tendency to want to know something by direct perception. This is possible by advanced devotion. As I have already explained, Shanta Sadeva Hridayesho Vilo Kayena Yanti. The realized devotee is constantly seeing the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shamashundar. You can constantly see the Supreme Lord as Paramatma sitting within your heart, and you can take advice from him. Krishna also confirms this, Buddhi Yogam Dadamiham. Yoga means concentrating the mind in order to see the super soul within. Therefore, you have to control the activities of the senses and withdraw them from material engagement. When your concentration is perfect, when your mind is focused on Paramatma, you can always see him.
Yes. And
Look wonderful.
that leads to Prabhupada's prayer, make me dance. Because it's not
Yes.
only seeing him or taking advice, but being controlled by it,
Right. Yes.
which is a step
Yes.
beyond taking advice. Taking advice means
Right.
I can accept or not accept.
Right.
But make me dance is I surrender. You be the puppet master. I will take pleasure watching what you do with the body that people say is mine.
Yeah, that concept is very wonderful, at the same time very dangerous for the conditioned soul, because we can see that Srila Prabhupada was constantly guided by Krishna, and then a ordinary person will say, oh well, he's making a mistake here, he's making a mistake there. That person doesn't seem to understand that, you know, Krishna is actually guiding him, and whatever is happening as it is. You know, how can you understand that part? I mean,
Keep going. You're doing
materially it
great.
might look like Srila Prabhupada's.
Ramachandra, I'm 100% happy with what you're doing.
Yes, it might look like Srila Prabhupada is making a mistake, but actually it's not a mistake because Krishna is directly guiding him. To us, it's a mistake, right? And in this way, we commit various offenses to the pure devotee. Like they say, familiarity breeds contempt. So I think a lot of these very wonderful leaders suffered from this point. I mean, this mistake.
Right. And why? They encouraged, no one discouraged them. Their peers agreed with them. Their peers were jealously hoping that they too can go even further down that path of being worshipped and collecting money and all of that. They hoped for that, and they have nothing to tell them contrary. Nothing to give them any other view. Right?
Right.
So go ahead. I don't want to interrupt you. I like what you're saying. Ramachandra, it's very good.
Srila Prabhupada, so someone else can, they can share their realizations. I'm just trying to read from this book and trying to share various philosophical points. So if anyone
Well,
wants
do
to
it.
share, please jump
Do
in.
it. I think that book is incredible. Please do it. Keep going, in other words.
Right, I will. Let me find the next thing I wanted to
Yes.
share. Okay, this is from page 12 of Dialectic Spiritualism. Shamashundra Prabhu is saying, let me share the screen so you can, devotees can see exactly what page. This is page 12. 12. Okay. So this is a point where it can either help you or it can destroy your spiritual life. I mean, it's not destroy your spiritual life, but you can be misled. So let me share the screen. 1 second.
Well, you could say destroy your spiritual progress, no? Destroy
Yeah,
your
destroy your
advancement.
spiritual progress. Exactly. Yes. So let me share my screen. So Shamashundra Prabhu was saying, Socrates recommended good association because if one is to develop good qualities, he must associate with those who are virtuous and similarly interested. Srila Prabhupada, that is very valuable. Without good association, we cannot develop Krishna consciousness. Narottam Das Thakur says, he sings that song, my dear Lord, please allow me to live with those devotees who serve the lotus feet of the 6 Goswamis. This is my desire, life after life. The aim of this Krishna consciousness movement is to create a society in which devotees can associate with one another. Huh? That's a bit, without
wonderful.
good association, we cannot develop Krishna consciousness. So if you don't have an Uttamadhikari as a spiritual master, how can you develop that? You know what I'm saying? If you take some conditioned soul who is in a Kanishta how can you develop that? That, you know,
And you
that
notice that
exalted.
Narottam Das Thakur says further, life after life.
Yes. Life
So that's
after life.
that's what I am offering or begging or pleading or suggesting, is that we take up that idea of life after life and not be too anxious to jump from sinful material life into Krishna Loka, not considering that it doesn't belong to us, it belongs to Krishna. Who are we to go back to Godhead?
You see it, Chidananda Prabhu? Narottam Das Thakur sings, my dear Lord, please allow me to live with those devotees who serve the lotus feet of the 6 Goswamis. This is my desire, life after life.
Yes. Sorry, I was talking to someone.
It's okay.
It's
okay. I know. You're preaching, so wonderful.
Yeah. And so we're looking for a demographic shift. In other words, a shift away from greedy, selfish salvationism. I want to be saved. I want to be saved. That when I die, I want to go to Krishna Loka. Never mind if I don't know anybody there. I don't know how to relate to anybody there. What do I know? All I know is I chanted all my rounds and I want to go back to Krishna Loka. Well, that doesn't the way it works. We need to take more of the Buddha Narottam Thakur, which is I want to associate with devotees birth after birth. And I'm recommending for the next 10,000 years that we form the core of such a belief system that we will go back to Godhead birth after birth after birth, making advancement here, not just rushing, trying to cut in line to be saved by Krishna Loka. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
So anyone else, please take over. I'm just kind of, you know, going through this book and
No, I like what you're doing. But you
I've
know,
highlighted. Yes, Prabhu.
Oh, yes. That we have to, we take into account that we don't know how to go back to Godhead. We don't know what's involved. That paper I sent out was to give a clue as to what it takes to go back to Godhead. And it means you have to evolve beyond the Kanista, relativistic Kanista auditory, become the truly independent philosopher, and then develop your truly independent, unique relationship with Krishna that has nothing to do with anyone else born on this planet. Okay?
Right. So I want to read something next from the same book, from page 14, Dialectic Spiritualism. And
So far, perfect.
this is pretty interesting.
Perfect.
This is, why is what page is this? Page 14, okay. So in this, Jai, Nishinga Prabhu, he came at the right time. So this, can everyone see this? Oh yeah.
Yes, yes, we can see.
So what is part? Shamsundar Das, this part. Can you see it? No? Is it blocking you?
I can see it.
What?
This part right here.
Why is that some people who receive this knowledge later reject it? That's it?
No, the whole thing. Then Srila Prabhupada answers. Go ahead.
Then it is not perfect knowledge. When one actually receives perfect knowledge, he becomes good. This is a fact. If one is not good, it is because he has not received perfect knowledge. Ramachandra Das. Is there not a class of men that is always evil? Srila Prabhupada, no. Ramachandra. Can any man be made good? Certainly. Because, the Srila Prabhupada replying, certainly, because the soul is by nature good. The living entity is covered by the inferior modes of material nature, by passion and ignorance. When he is cleaned of this covering, his goodness will emerge. The soul is originally good because it is part and parcel of God, and God is all good. That which is part and parcel of gold is also gold. Although the soul is covered by matter, the soul is all good. When a sharpened knife is covered by rust, it loses its sharpness. If we, I can't see this bit.
If we remove
the rust, the knife will once again be sharp. That's all I can do now.
So just see, Prabhupada is commenting so wonderfully. Certainly, because the soul is nature by good. The living entity is covered by the inferior modes of material nature, by passion and ignorance. Huh? And then just before that, why is it some people who receive this knowledge later reject it? So we can see that a lot of people in Krishna consciousness movement, they receive this wonderful spiritual knowledge and they later reject it. So, how can we understand it? I mean, for example, Bhagavan, he got a perfect understanding or somewhat some understanding about Krishna consciousness, but then what happened?
Well, you're saying if a person. Go ahead.
The Srila Prabhupada is saying,
take over.
The false ego takes over. So can we say that he didn't hear properly Prabhupada's wisdom? Prabhupada is saying then it is not perfect. So Prabhupada is giving the perfect wisdom, perfect knowledge, but he didn't hear perfectly. Can we say that?
Yes.
That's pretty good. Yeah,
Yeah.
because if you hear perfection and you don't accept it, it means it didn't resonate with who you are. If
Yeah.
it resonated with who you are, then you'll be delighted.
Yes. Simple.
This is true in every phase of life, in material life also. If a child is given a toy and he likes the toy and understands the toy, then he will be delighted. But if he doesn't understand the toy, he will become discouraged and go to try to do something that he likes better.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Agreed.
Certainly.
The toy, which is a body, if it's used spiritually, it becomes spiritual. So there's no suffering, there's no speculation. We're on the right way. We are already in the spiritual world. But as soon as we speculate, then problems.
Look at Srila Prabhupada answering this wonderful question. Shamashundra Prabhu is asking, can any man be made good? Srila Prabhupada says, certainly, because the soul is by nature good. So look at it. Prabhupada statement, huh? Can any man be made good? Srila Prabhupada, certainly, because the soul is by nature
Yeah.
good.
We are Sachitananda.
Yes. So,
And the body covering everything with the mind.
yes.
So if we clear the mind, contact the mind with God, with Krishna, then the whole body is spiritualized and we use it properly.
Yes. So
Material becomes.
we can see that, Chittananda Prabhu, that then it is not perfect knowledge. So we see that these gurus in ISKCON and whatever, you know, can we say that knowledge is perfect? Then it is not perfect knowledge, where it's saying directly in the of instruction that one must take an Uda Madhukari Vaishnava as his guru, but Kanishta and Madhyav can also accept disciples, but they must be on the same level. So if the knowledge is not perfect, then why even take that chance?
Well, the information is perfect, but the understanding is not perfect.
Yes. So that's
so the Kanistha is limited in to what degree he can understand and accept Krishna consciousness himself. If the Kanistha is a guru, his disciple is a Kanistha, they can have a lot of pleasure. They can have a lot of pleasure taking in the Krishna's pastimes, but in terms of staying with the movement, which was the question that was raised, why after doing that would they not stay? Because they have not gone to the next step. You have to go to the next step, which is realization, not just agreement in general principle. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So why not continue?
Well, I'm doing most of the talking, so there has to be other people that should talk also.
You should be doing most of the talking.
Okay, so I'll continue reading. Krishna. Okay, so Chittananda Prabhu, maybe you can read this part, and then you share your realization, please. Okay.
Yeah. I don't
Here,
have
you
the
can start.
okay.
Here.
From where?
Can you see it?
From where?
You read from, let's see, 1 second. You
Shama.
read from this place. Then if,
Okay.
yeah.
Syama Sundar Das. Then if God is pure morality, he must be a person. Srila Prabhupada, certainly, all good. God is good, and this means that he is full of morality. Syama Sundar,
So,
Socrates,
so
sorry?
now, if we read this statement, certainly all good, God is all good, and that means he is full of morality. Now,
Morality.
many people,
Life is full of
now
morality, it says.
life? No, it doesn't say life.
No, it's full of morality. God is full of morality.
No, you're right.
So,
Okay.
yeah, so many people might argue that, hey, look, if God is all about morality, look at the Mahabharata, it's full of immorality, and God participated in that immoral activity by killing, millions of thousands of soldiers. People argue like this. Look at your Krishna, he's full of immoral activity.
Well,
What's going on here?
Some Leela.
Whose Leela is going on?
remember the Mahabharata is designed for Sri Sudra Dvijabandhu.
Yes.
That's all people that are Sri Sudra Dvijabandhu can understand is morality or immorality. The actual
Right.
Shastra, the reason for these wars was to end the Dwapara Yuga.
Right.
And this was how it happened. And at that same time, Kshatriyas died and went back to the sun planet.
Right.
And there was a reason for everything. There was no immorality there.
Nishinga has a question. Nishinga, can you pick it up?
Yes, I wrote it down. Hare Krishna.
No, you speak it up. Speak it up.
Yes, it seems that people are godly. We are all godly beings. Why are we not good as God, godly as God?
That was answered. That was answered before. Did you
Yeah.
not hear? Did you not hear?
No, I don't think you are.
No. I was.
Oh, okay. It was answered here. Where is it? Remember, it was talking about we were covered by the passion and ignorance.
Yeah.
So that's why we're not godly, because we're covered. And then it gives the example of the knife. Remember the knife right here. Your answer, Nishinga, certainly, because the soul is by nature good, the living entity is covered by the inferior modes of material nature, by passion and ignorance. When he is cleansed of this covering, his goodness will emerge. The soul is originally good because it is part and parcel of God, and God is all good. That which is part and parcel of gold is also gold. Although the soul is covered by matter, the soul is all good. When a sharpened knife is covered by rust, it loses its sharpness. If we remove the rust, the knife will once again be sharp. Isn't that a satisfactory answer?
Nishinga.
Yes,
Nishinga?
but at the same time, people tends to forget what's God message. Forgetfulness is a cause of
Yes.
being evil.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Forgetfulness is the consistent status of the jiva in the material world. Forgetful means I think I'm the body and not the soul. That is really forgetfulness. So if we get that knowledge, then we have to live the knowledge, practice the knowledge, and realize the knowledge. If we don't do that, then people go away. They lose interest. They liked what they studied and they got tired of it, then they left. It has to be
Yes.
presented, and it's not presented, it has to be pursued by the neophyte with the
It's also
intensity,
maybe
with
maybe
intensity.
because yeah. I think maybe
Okay.
because of the association that they have got and uh, the associations and qualities they have cultivated, so that they don't get attracted to the
Well, then they haven't done their homework, have they?
yeah.
They want
True.
to enjoy the material world for their own benefit.
Well, that's the status before taking Diksha.
Yeah. I'm speaking
Yeah, but
for
after also,
Diksha,
after
Diksha
also they want
implies
to enjoy.
Diksha implies renunciation. Diksha also requires surrender of mind, body, and mind, body, and spirit to the spiritual master.
Yeah.
If you don't,
Okay.
but if your spiritual master is not a Nuttamadakari, surrendering to him unconditionally can be downright risky.
Spiritual. Yeah. Yeah, I've noticed that here in Sacramento. The guru is inviting the disciple to go join him, but the disciple is denying. The disciple is denying to, to leave his, position here
I
and
think
join the guru.
Well,
Yes,
a very poignant example is the bizarre and strange death of Jayatirtha.
Oh, yeah. Very, very good.
He had a disciple
Prabhu.
who loved him unconditionally with his whole existence. And that disciple was married. And Chaitanya took over the disciple's marriage by taking on his wife. And the man was very attached to his wife. He was also completely sold lock, stock, and barrel to Jayatirtha with love. And he came to a point where he couldn't handle the dichotomy. So what he did was he beheaded Jayatirtha and then sat until the police came, holding the head cradled in his arms of his guru that he loved more than life itself. So you see the dichotomy that because of Chaitya's immorality, not qualified to be a Diksha Guru, the disciple having given himself 100%, lock, stock, and barrel to Chaitya, they couldn't handle the clash between his wife becoming the mistress of Chaitya and his beloved guru. So he killed his guru, and he had every right to do so, actually. But he could not kill him with a sense of righteousness because his guru was his life and soul. He loved him. So this is the great danger that the conditioned soul has, posing as guru when he cannot behave as guru, or at least not for any length of time.
What?
Does that make sense?
Yes, Prabhuji, can I intervene?
Go ahead.
I'm saying maybe there are things still going on like this in the movement, and the devotees don't know what to do and how to behave, and there's no etiquettes. Even new bhaktas are joining the temple. There's no etiquette been given, and not enough of this educational program are going on, nor any care that is missing in you know.
Well, yes. So that means a collapse of the purpose of
Yeah,
ISKCON.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this is our
Yeah.
Zoom call to the rescue.
Yeah.
It is we
Mm-hmm.
who can make that change. But I contest we cannot make that change successfully unless we are really willing to remain here in each other's association, birth after birth, until we actually reach the stage of pure unalloyed love of God, rather than thinking, die, go to heaven, die, go to heaven. The people say, why don't you want to take many births? Oh, it's so miserable in this one. Well, if it's miserable in this one, then how you can go back to Godhead? You have to
Right.
give up your mystery and go back to Godhead. We're not salvationists. This is self-realization, not salvation. If you can't go back to, if you're too miserable to go back to Godhead, then you're too miserable to avoid taking another body. So I'm saying, I invite you miserable in your butt, join with us with the Zoom call, commit to 100 more lifetimes, more or less, and you'll see that each birth will become more and more blissful until you reach the perfectional stage. And what's wrong with
Yes.
that? And the reason for that questionnaire that I sent out is that people don't realize they're not going to die and go back to Godhead in this lifetime. It's not likely because they haven't developed pure unalloyed love.
We
of God.
have a long way to go.
Yes. So if you have developed pure unalloyed love of God, then you're either a madhyam or an uttama adhikari. The difference being madhyam adhikari has pure unalloyed love of God, cannot see Krishna, and uttama adhikari has pure unalloyed love of God, and he's in constant kinetic exchanges, loving exchanges with Krishna, because there's no gap, there's no material gap between his life and Krishna's existence. Once your life has become completely absorbed in giving pleasure to Krishna, and Krishna is completely absorbed in giving pleasure to you, not in your body, but as a living conscious part and parcel, then going back to Godhead is practical and makes sense. Otherwise, going back to Godhead is simply a second-hand salvationist Christian notion. Okay?
Yes. Yes. But we have to build the Vaikuntha,
Atmosphere.
atmosphere, yes, so that we can.
Well, that's the other
happy.
trap. If you want to go to Vaikuntha Loka, it's a different process than if you want to go to Krishna Loka. To go to Vaikuntha Loka, like supposing Ajamil, the Narayana Dutas came and took him away. Well, Narayana Dutas mean Vishnu, don't they? The servants of Vishnu, Narayana. He had not developed a loving relationship with Krishna in Krishna Loka. They wanted to be saved, and saved he became. But now he's worshiping Krishna, Vishnu, in awe and reverence on a Vishnu planet, of which there are a sufficient number in the spiritual sky. So you have to make up your mind what you want. Prabhupada came here to bring us back to Krishna Loka, not to Vishnu planets. And even though we are worshiping Krishna in the mood of Vishnu, that is just to protect us from committing unimaginable aparat against Krishna himself. Even with good intentions, we don't know how to do it.
Ms. Prabhuji, I would like to ask if what about a devotee who doesn't have any good qualities of a devotee and still want to be a devotee?
Say that again, the first part.
Somebody who don't have any qualities to become a devotee, and he have a good intention of becoming a good devotee.
Oh.
Or
We say intention, but to tell
Yeah.
you the honest truth, that person is perfectly qualified to become a devotee of Krishna. You know why?
Mhm.
He's part and parcel of Krishna. Yeah,
We just read.
he's part
Read
and
that.
parcel of Krishna.
Yes.
If he's
Yes.
part and parcel of Krishna, that is his
No.
eternal qualification. There's no bad person or there's no bad soul, just
Mhm.
people who have done bad things in their bodies, misguided by their
Okay.
weird desires.
How should relate to these people? And I mean,
Tell them to go back. Tell them that they must chant Hare Krishna and they can go back to Godhead. And that whatever sinfulness they have accumulated in this lifetime can be dissolved in this lifetime as well. You remember the story of Valmiki, right?
Yes.
He wrote the Ramayana, the Valmiki Ramayana. Yeah,
Yes.
he was told to chant Hare. He was told to chant the name of Rama. Tried to, but what did he chant instead of Rama? Do you know?
Mara.
Mara means death. Marathon. The word marathon means run to death. death run.
sound is not coming good.
Yeah. So Mara. So he said Mara. Who knows how long? Narada Muni was only gone a few minutes away from Valmiki. He was only gone a few minutes, but take into account there were a few minutes in the life of Brahma, not on earth. Because Narada Muni is the son of Brahma and comes from Brahmaloka. So when he was gone a few minutes, if he went somewhere else on earth, he could come back in a few earth minutes. But he didn't. He went somewhere else and took on longer minutes, maybe Indraloka. It's not as much as Brahmaloka, but each planet has different time frames. So when Narada came back a few minutes later, he couldn't find Valmiki anywhere. They couldn't figure it out because intuitively he felt that Valmiki hadn't gone away. So he leaned up against one of those cones that termites have in the jungle. It's a thing that looks like a volcano sticking up made out of mud that the termites gather together and get packed together and make a nice nest for themselves the way bees make beehives in a similar fashion in the wild.
Sound good.
So he was leaning up against that thing just to try to puzzle things out and wonder what happened to his disciple Valmiki, and he heard inside the mud castle, the mud pyramid. So he was interested. What is doing that? It didn't sound like termites. So he took something, maybe a rock, and cracked it open, and he saw two fiery, vivid eyeballs looking out, and he could then hear and so he broke away more of it, and there was Valmiki completely attached to the earth with his hair, had grown down in a few minutes of Brahma's time. The Valmiki's hair had come down and entangled with the roots of trees and branches and plants. And the plants had crawled up to his hair too. So he was a matted image of stability in terms of not having moved in probably a few minutes was like more like 50,000 years, and in Earth time.
Your image
And
is
so-
not. We
What?
cannot see. Narayan Prabhu.
Yeah. Okay.
Now it's better.
So yeah. Okay.
No.
So Valmiki was sitting there chanting not Mara Mara, which is how it was when Narada left him, but Rama Rama, which is Mara Rama 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 Rama. So Mara turns into Rama. Same syllables, different pronunciation, and completely different meaning. So from that point onward, of course, Narada then asked Valmiki, in the course of your meditation for the last few minutes when I was gone, did you have any realization or any vision come to you? And he started out in great joy sharing this with his now guru, Narada Muni, describing the pastimes of Lord Rama. And because he had become absorbed into the Ramayana. And then Narada told him, well, Valmiki, then please, instead of killing people and thinking they're gold and hoping for the best, write down this Ramayana so that everyone will know what it was that you saw and experienced. And
Yeah.
he did. We don't go with the Tulsidas Ramayana, we go with the Valmiki Ramayana. They're very different. You see? So that is how evil person can become, to answer your question rather elaborately, Haribol, Narendra, Haribol. It's so good to see you. You appear to be saintly. You look saintly to me at least, but what do I know? But I think you are saintly. So,
I'm a sinful
so that's the proof that to answer Chidananda, was that your question? That how can an evil person become good? Well, Valmiki was very definitely evil person, and he became the acharya that we go to hear the recitation of the Ramayana. So that's quite a contrast, no?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? Does that answer your question?
Yes, Prabhuji.
It does, doesn't it? So we need to know that. We need to know that the jiva cannot be evil. There's no saying it's a bad soul. Oh, Christianity comes up with it. And interestingly enough, Satan, according to the Christian doctrine, was once a shining angel second only to God. But then he got contaminated. So that's not our philosophy. Any jiva, or for that matter, any expansion of Krishna, cannot become evil. But if he is evil in the calculation of our material calculation of consciousness, then we have to understand that not only he is covered by the impression that he is evil, but we are covered by the impression that he is evil. Because if I can see a jiva who is a very evil guy, Charles Manson or whatever you want to say, if I see a jiva who's very evil, and I see him as irredeemably evil, then I am blind, spiritually blind, because I cannot see that he is part and parcel of Krishna, which he is. Right?
Yes.
He is part and parcel of Krishna. Therefore, if I'm so enlightened, why can't I see that? I am simply trying to feel superior to a person that is described in scriptures or by law or by themselves or by ourselves that he is evil. Well, what can we do?
We should see the
Yeah.
good in everyone.
Well, if we don't, then we're not good ourselves.
Yeah.
So that's the final purpose
Yes,
of
Prabhuji,
the
I want.
sacrifice. Oh, to give up, once again, to give up the idea of going back to Godhead when I wrote a paper and I don't think there's a single person that's read it that can answer the questions because they have never been taught how to go back to Godhead by their initiator. They're not taught to be the independent philosopher that Prabhupada wished us all to become. So what can, so that will give us something to work on, something to chew on for the next 10,000 years. Let's become perfected before we want to invade Krishna Loka with our picnic baskets full of fried chicken or whatever it is we think we're going to do at the time of
Hello?
death.
Nishinga?
Yes,
Stop.
yes. Hare Krishna. I would say also about how we could understand how people are, you know, in a illusion, in an illusion of the material world, and they can't understand the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, and
So
that
we have to understand.
even we sometimes we are bewildered by, yeah, we are, I mean I sometimes been bewildered by the modes of nature. So
Of course.
Yeah,
Of course,
and
we're
then
bewildered by the modes of
we
nature.
can't
But we're never going to leave this
yeah,
material
so
world until that bewilderment is become transparent and we can see ourselves and others as pure spirit soul. We cannot go back to Godhead until I can see you as pure spirit soul. If I cannot realize and know and understand and visualize and experience you as being pure spirit soul, how do I go back to Godhead where there's nothing but pure spirit soul? But I'm going to be the only person in Krishna Loka that cannot understand spirit soul. Krishna Loka, everyone understands spirit soul. That's why they're there. So if we want to rejoin them, then we have to become self-realized souls. That's the real story. Okay, Ramachandra, keep read.
Chidananda Prabhu, can you read, please? This is for you.
Maybe Nishinga can read. Nishinga Takalia.
bon, pas peka trop, ça va, attends.
It's a bit small.
Too small?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
too
too small.
Nishinga, can you read? I mean, Chidananda, I can read
No,
on my phone.
Well, you could
Yes,
turn
I-
your
You
phone
cannot-
sideways. Chidananda, turn your telephone sideways.
it is sideways.
Oh,
Well, on the yellow part, is it?
Yes, just the yellow part.
Let me try. Krishna
Yes.
consciousness movement is for the training
man.
men to be independently thoughtful and competent in all types of departments of knowledge and action, not for making bureaucracy. Once there is bureaucracy, the whole thing will be spoiled. There must be always individual striving and work and responsibility, competitive spirit, not that one shall dominate and distribute benefits to the others, and they do nothing but beg from you and you provide. No. Never mind, there may be botheration to register each center, take a tax certificate each, become separate corporations in each state. That will mean how to do these things. That will train men how to do things, and they shall develop reliability and responsibility That is the point of Siddhanta.
So, right.
Is
So
this
that's-
the letter to Corondor?
Yes, Narayana Prabhu, that's the letter.
Totally amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's quite clear. It's clear.
Krishna consciousness movement is for training men to be independently thoughtful and competent in all types of departments of knowledge and action, not for making bureaucracy. Once there's bureaucracy, the whole thing will be spoiled. There must be always individuals striving and work and responsibility, competitive spirit, not that one shall dominate and distribute benefits to the others, and they do nothing but beg from you and you provide. No, never mind, there may be botheration to register each center, take tax certificate each, become separate corporations in each state. That will train men how to do these things, and they shall develop reliability, responsibility, and that is the point.
That's
And the
amazing.
GBC doing the opposite by making it centralized
Right.
and owners of the whole assets, which is not bona fide.
Yeah, so everything is there in Srila Prabhupada's books, conversations, lectures,
All
and
spoiled. Everything is spoiled.
everything is spoiled.
It is. I put a
So you can see
a post on
that
Facebook
what Prabhupada
recently.
describes about the one who's handing out benefits, that's the opposite of independent philosopher. Obviously, a beggar is not an independent philosopher. He's
Right.
a dependent beggar. So what Prabhupada was asking is that each devotee become independently self-realized and independently knowledgeable.
Yes.
If somebody says, don't worry, just take initiation, I will take you back to Godhead, that is the opposite of independent philosopher. Don't do anything, I'll do it for you. You know?
Right. Yeah, just surrender to me, give all your money to me, and I'll take care of the rest.
Yeah, so you don't have to think.
Yeah, zombie. Become a zombie. That's it. So, we end it here a little early today. I think we covered a lot of ground.
Does anyone have any view that they want to develop slightly?
Yes.
And who's here?
1,
Is,
2, 3, 4, 5 people. So,
is Mahaprabhu still here? Yes.
Prabhu, he's always here.
So you may have a question or a statement. What would you like to say?
I have a warm invitation to anyone who's watching on YouTube, Facebook. We have this wonderful Ishtagoshti discussions every day. We start about 8 o'clock most of the time. And they can participate by asking questions on Zoom, or they can send me a message on WhatsApp. My phone number is 916-430-0045, 916-430-0045. And we're developing a group where I will just send you one message for the Zoom conversation and you can join. So this is how everyone can participate in this wonderful Ishtagoshti and discussions.
That's wonderful.
Chidananda Prabhu is in Mauritius. Where are you, Chidananda Prabhu? Mauritius? We cannot hear you. Chidananda Prabhu, we cannot hear you. What's going on? Microphone is muted.
Okay.
Maybe
You're muted,
Yeah,
Siddhartha.
he's in
Just-
south, in the
You're
south.
Okay,
muted.
now, okay.
You're okay now.
The thing is, you mentioned the time, 8 o'clock in
Oh,
the in the evening. So
8
that's
o'clock.
American time, eh?
Yes, California time. Yes. Pacific.
So it's GMT. I think it's 3 o'clock GMT,
Right.
Universal Time.
So,
So it's a bit not so good for the Europe. Europe is Mangalati time, isn't it?
Well, we need to have
So
several
Prabhu
sessions.
Narayan, maybe sometimes, yes, sometimes for the Europeans, maybe some days for the Europeans, if you can be there.
He'll be there.
We have to calculate this time zone because it's quite complicated. People are sleeping, you know.
Well, just keep going and see what happens and adjust accordingly.
Right, that's my plan.
Does that make sense?
Anyway, it will be on YouTube also. They can ask question from
Yes.
YouTube.
Right.
Don't you think it is
And
Facebook?
if possible,
also-
join.
Okay.
It is also on Facebook, Ramachandra?
Yeah, I posted a link on Facebook to the YouTube live feed. So
Uh-huh. So send me the link because I like to re-listen to it, review it,
of course.
to re-watch it
Mm-hmm.
because you know it's like we are having class every day from an advanced devotee,
Yeah.
and everybody can ask question. This is the way nowadays. Nishinga?
Yes, I want to say if we can go on the practical level and explain it in an easy and practicable way so that people can understand our objectives and because sometimes the philosophy is too high for for devotees to understand it or even the
Oh,
newcomer. I
Then
don't
they're
know.
going to have to struggle to catch up, won't they?
No, I understand it, but I'm saying for others who are newcomers,
You
so that we.
expect Nishinga Prabhu,
Sorry?
that's you're
Well,
here.
no, a newcomer is not prohibited from making a statement or asking a question.
Right.
Okay.
We are all equal. Aham Brahmasmi means nobody is more Brahman or less Brahman than anybody else. We're all Brahmasmi. We're all equal on the platform of spiritual life. And that is how we can, just turning that into, like turning your glove inside out or turning your take your sweater off and it's out inside out. That's what we have to do. We have to prepare ourselves to investigate questions that we may not feel qualified to investigate. But by investigating them, we become qualified.
Right.
Right? So let's have that pleasurable experience. And you can see that in what is being discussed with Prabhupada and Shama Sundar, there is the question of how to become self-realized is made to seem much more exacting than just, oh, join the movement and I will take you back to Godhead mentality. That's not a real mentality. Join, I will take you. No, you're not. You are taking yourself. But each jiva is individual. How can someone else take a jiva back to Godhead? Srila Prabhupada shows us how to take ourselves back to Godhead, not how he's taking us back to Godhead. We're not. This whole curse of Christianity is driving us out of our brains. What do you got there?
Okay, so you made a point about we should take this very seriously. We'll have to do the work. So who's causing disturbance? This can please mute.
Nishinga.
Okay.
Nishinga's mother, I suppose.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I'm
No
sorry.
No problem, Prabhu. So I'll mute you. So then you can unmute yourself. 1 second. There you go. So I'm reading now. This is from Bhakti Vedanta Database, Bhagavad Gita lecture 1973. How he can be saved from the clutches of Maya? That is the Krishna consciousness movement. A teacher can give you hints. The Acharya can give you hints. Quote, you can be saved in this way. but the execution of the duties that is in your hand. If you perform the spiritual duties rightly, then you are saved. Otherwise, even Acharya gives you instruction. If you don't follow, so how can how he can save you? He can save you by instruction, by his mercy as much as possible, but you have to take it in your hands seriously.
So that is, we are looking at the exact problem of ISKCON. GBCs said not to follow Prabhupada. They create gurus not to follow Prabhupada. Then they want to make a success as a material organization or church like the Catholic Church. Doesn't work for spiritual life. We're not selling salvation for money. In the Catholic Church, if you give enough money, you can be guaranteed you will go to heaven. The Dohini's wife, the oil magnate of Teapot Dome fame, infamy of Teapot Dome, his wife gave unbelievable sums of money of her husband's money after he died to the Pope, and she became a papal princess. She was awarded the title Papal Princess. Well, what does that mean? It means for money, now you're going to go to heaven. You know, that's maybe good enough for her, but it's not good enough for the beggar in the street who wants to understand the truth. Because for him, eating is possible, eating is impossible. Food is there, food is not there. Clothes are here, clothes are not there. Bath is here, bath is not there. So each individual has to go through those process. So papal princess is fanciful and has nothing to do with reality. Joy.
So, I think we have Nishinga or Bhakta Ananda or Chirananda Prabhu. Any questions? Last minute questions? Anything you guys want to share? Or we'll just
Yes, actually, this religion is a simple thing.
yeah.
I mean, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you just chant Hare Krishna properly and become vegetarian and all that, it's quite simple. And Prabhu was saying there's not even need for a spiritual master.
But that
Isn't
is
it?
spiritual master.
Yeah, following Srila Prabhupada, his spiritual master. Oh, how
Yeah.
can you? Prabhupada says,
When you say spiritual master, do you mean a intermediary who takes credit and then charges you money for supposedly taking you under his wing? Or are you talking spiritual master who can deliver the whole world?
Yeah, the one who can deliver
Therefore, we require.
in truth.
We cannot do without the bona fide spiritual master.
yeah, there's no question of without a bona fide spiritual master here.
Yeah.
Not that
I mean, it's simple for the simple people. And then those who want to be Brahman, they have to study a lot to be able to give class and all that. And the Kshatriyas must know how to defend the country, defend the people, the cows.
Right.
Yes.
Everybody can become a true devotee just by chanting.
Yes. That's why Daiva Varnashram is not like the regular historic Varnashram. Daiva Varnashram means everyone is initiated as a Vaishnava disciple of Prabhupada. And because they're all disciples of Prabhupada, they can progress unlimitedly back to home, back to Godhead. Because once you have nobody telling you can't do something, then the instinct is to say, I can do it. So whoever is spirit soul, why he should not feel to his full capacity that he can serve Krishna? Why does he have to look to somebody else to tell him how to do it? It's his nature to do it. Once we click into that status, it is our very nature to worship Krishna. Yes?
Right.
Otherwise, I'm just worshiping my own body and the body of the women I would have sex with, or worshiping my banker because he has my money. You know, that's all.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
all.
Pradyumna did say once, Pradyumna, he said once you're, Pradyumna, sorry, Pradyumna was saying that when someone is on the Vyasasan, it's not actually the person being worshipped, it's Bhagavatam. The Bhagavatam is Krishna himself.
Yes, and your point, I don't quite understand. Though.
Sorry?
I didn't quite understand your point. You said it's true.
Pradyumna Das was saying that when someone sits on the Vyasasan and being worshipped and giving class, so it's not the person being worshipped, it's the Bhagavatam book, which is Krishna himself.
So why does he need to sit on a Vyasasan?
To be worshipped.
Yeah. You see, the whole point is, Prabhupada, the Uttamadhikari is the person Bhagavad. So the book is the book Bhagavad, and the spiritual master, bona fide spiritual master, Uttamadhikari, spiritual master, is the person Bhagavad. If you have a Kanista Bhagavad or a Madhyam Bhagavad, it will not produce anything except disturbance and confusion. And people will join, but instead of committing themselves to as many lifetimes as it takes to reach spiritual perfection, after some years they decide to leave and do something else for a while. That we have to avoid. The program should be so engrossing that no one would dream of leaving. Why would anyone want to leave perfection? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
No need to leave perfection.
So that's the importance of book distribution. The books is Bhagavan himself, and giving the Mahamantra as much as possible.
Yeah. So giving out the Mahamantra, giving out the books is fine, but not knowing what you're giving out and not understanding what you're giving out in mantra or book is a great waste of your time. You have to yourself become the embodiment of the book and the mantra. You need to personify yourself.
But the person receiving the book and the Mahamantra may surpass me. So
well, somebody can make an announcement. Even if you hate books and you hate the Mahamantra, if you sell them books and you tell them to chant the Mahamantra, even if you hate it, if they follow it, well, they'll go back to Godhead. And whoever hates it will make some advancement, but you would do a lot better if you weren't hating so much.
Yeah, we all have to endeavor to reach the top destination.
Right. So let's perfect our lives and then perfect our lives by helping others perfect their lives. If we do that, perfecting our own life will become much easier. I just want to perfect my life. I want to avoid all the people that could go back to Godhead, namely people that are sinful. But if I help those that are presently sinful and make them into devotees, then my going back to Godhead will be much simpler, wouldn't it? Are we at the end of the session tonight? Ramachandra.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, certainly.
Nishinga?
Yes. Can I say something?
Sure. Go ahead.
Of course.
Yes, I was thinking, why don't we do something like to recruit peoples in our group so that we can have an exchange of ideas and how to practice it in a more, I would say, more better way, so that we can have a, I would say, a platform to to exchange whatever we have in common.
Isn't that what
Yes,
we're doing?
You can
Yesterday,
share. You can share the video, the
yesterday,
YouTube video.
yesterday I met one guru. He's a guru and a Hindu preacher.
Yes.
Also, he's holistic. He's a very nice guy, and I saw his way of approaching people and doing things are very much appreciated by the public, and he's getting more and more people in his and he's chanting Krishna's name. He's having satsang and very nice kirtan. So I don't know if these people can be of in our group and we can have exchanges and try to praise Krishna.
Why not? Why not?
Anyone,
Why not?
anyone can join.
If they come
Yeah.
to defeat us, then we have a job ahead of us. If they come to celebrate with us, then we will celebrate with them. Why not?
Yes.
Right? The
So-
chanting Hare Krishna is the very celebration of your eternal existence.
Yeah.
So if they want to chant and celebrate their eternal existence, we can do with them or without them, either way, whichever. If they want to do, we can do. If we want to do, hopefully they can do. Otherwise, we can do what we do on our own. It doesn't matter. The main thing is to be an independent philosopher, not to lean on anybody or depend on anybody for your God consciousness, except yourself.
Jai.
Very well.
Audible.
Very well.
Hi.
Thank you.
Glories to
Thank you.
Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Prabhu.
Glories.
Oh,
Hare
glory
Krishna.
to Prabhupada.
Jai. Ivo, are you going to cut us loose, Ramachandra?
Yes, I'm cutting it loose in 1 second. Okay, stop live stream. Okay,